Welcome. You're listening to the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast, creatively engineered by Nicole, the inspiration specialist. I'm Wired to Inspire is a powerfully packed 5-minute podcast filled with inspiration and encouragement to get you through your day. It's designed to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Now stay tuned for your host, Nicole, the inspiration specialist, on today's episode of I'm Wired to Inspire.
Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. And I hope you guys are doing great today. Y'all, something I've been thinking about lately is like, man, a lot of the things that I thought would be happening in my life, man, is not really going the way I thought. That's not a bad thing necessarily, but things are just moving differently. And I actually have peace about that, so I don't know. I just felt led to talk to somebody listening today who is struggling with that. You are struggling with your peace. And the only reason why you're struggling with your peace is because you're feeling like God had given you a promise and you thought things would be another way, but you have a completely different outcome. Okay, so you actually have the promise manifested, but it's either not with the person you thought it would be, or maybe it's not in the place or the way you thought it would be. Whatever the case may be, it is not what you thought. Okay. And so you're kind of struggling with having peace with it and completely receiving it because something in you is making you think that, well, this is not specifically how I thought it was going to happen. So perhaps maybe this is not something I should be rejoicing in. Well, I am here to tell you right now, it is time to rejoice, my friend. It is time to rejoice because this thing has run its course and the Lord wants you to begin to enjoy your blessing. And for some of you, it's not even complete, but the reason why you're not seeing it in completion is because you're focused on it still not being what you thought. You got to take every piece of it and enjoy it because life is moving and happening so quickly and at such a fast rate, you can't get your time back. So whatever it is that God is giving you to enjoy and to bask in, I am telling you right now, that person who's feeling guilt for receiving it, that person who's even maybe feeling like they're a little confused because they're like, man, God is not the author of confusion. Why am I confused? I mean, I'm going to have to tell you something you might not like, but you're confusing yourself. God is not putting you in a confusing situation. You're just not receiving the situation, and sure, you don't have to receive it. But if you want to receive God's best, you might want to do it because that is God's best for that particular thing. And you may not think of it that way because, you could be looking at it at the stage that it's in. Some of the blessings some of you are receiving right now, it's just in the little small form, but it's still a blessing. And because it's not full blown all the way at the max, you just kind of you're discrediting it right now because it's not what you thought it should look like. But you have to remember, God is giving you the opportunity to enjoy the entire flow, the entire wave of the thing coming together. That's why you have to take it all in, take little tiny bite-sized chunks. If you have to, stop looking for the whole kit and caboodle all in one whop, because guess what? That's not going to do you good. God don't want to do you a disservice. So that's why you have to pay attention to what's going on, because if you miss it, then you're going to be looking at God in disbelief and anger as if he played you and he really didn't. You will have played yourself. So again, y'all know how this goes with me. Everything is not going to be cookies and cream and all of that. But this is actually not a bad word. And it might be a tiny bit of correction, but don't be offended by that. Because God is trying to show you, hey, listen, I know it's not what you thought, but I'm trying to stretch you. I'm trying to make you new. I'm trying to get you in position to get the big thing. But if I'm looking at you and you're not even appreciating the small stuff, you're letting me know by your own omission, I can't give you nothing bigger, because you are omitting the blessing. You're omitting the small thing. You're acting as if it doesn't exist because you don't like the level it's on. You don't like the way it's looking right now. And that is not going to get you to your end game. This is the time to really keep your eye on the ball. I mentioned that on one of my videos recently. Keep your eye on God, y'all. You have to keep your eye on God, because if you don't, you are going to wake up one day with regret, and you're going to feel as if you've wasted your time. Listen, I'm going to encourage you, and this is prophetic. You have not wasted any time. The problem is you have wasted time focusing on wasted time. Now that's a word right there. So you have time now to snatch back everything you said that was counterproductive to your blessing, snatch back the ungratefulness toward the timing of God, and replace that with the heavenly counterpart. Start thanking God for the time. Start telling God, I appreciate what you are doing for me. This is wonderful. This is a blessing. This is a miracle. I appreciate it in the small, tiny part that it's at right now. I'm not having a fit because I don't have everything together. God knows this. God can't give you everything at one time. Just think about it. If you think about everything you asked God for and he snapped his finger and he gave it all to you, guess what? I can guarantee you would not be able to handle it. You wouldn't be. Because if you got the $10 million right now and all your other stuff jacked up, you don't even have a bank account ready, what you going to do with the money? What, if you're like, oh my God, Lord, just put me on that trip. Give me the ticket. Let me go to, I want to go to this country right now. Okay, you snap your finger and God gives you the ticket. You don't have a passport. And the trip you asked him for, you said, Lord, please send me something today. Send me something tomorrow. You don't have a passport. So, that's what you have to think about. The things that you're asking God for. He's like, listen, I just want them to just enjoy me, bask in me, love on me in these little small things. I know your kids might be getting on your nerves, but man, at least you have kids. They have people that can't even conceive. You're like, man, I can't stand this job. Yo, they got people begging for a job. They have people that would take your job and get that hour before you just because they're grateful. They'll stay an hour later, and God is like, well, I know they want to have this thing, but I got them over here at this little job and I know that they're not going to be there long, but they think they're going to be there forever, but they just not even grateful to me for it. They're not even rejoicing in it. Every 5 minutes they on the phone popping off and I can't stand them. They're keeping up mess at the job, sitting on the stoop, keeping up mess and all of this. Listen, God is paying attention to that. And I know some of you may not want to hear it, but you got to watch your mouth. You got to stop that because it's counterproductive to what you want. You have to learn how to appreciate God exactly where you are, exactly where you at. And you have to give them the honor and respect that he deserves. He loves you enough. He loves you enough to not only hear your prayers, but he loves you enough to execute the answers to those prayers. But you have to relinquish control and you have to let him give it to you the way he wants to give it to you. So whoever this is for, whoever needed this message, I just want to say be encouraged. And make sure you do a shift and a change in your attitude. If you have to change your atmosphere, change that as well. But reset yourself. Put yourself back in a state of mind where you can let the Lord get to you the way he needs to get to you. And if nothing else, as soon as this thing goes off, the first thing you say, God, forgive me if I was ever ungrateful. It may or may not apply, but at least you can cover your bases. And I'm going to tell you, don't say it unless you mean it. Don't treat God like Santa Claus. If you're going to say it, y'all, say it because you're like, my bad. No, I'm really sorry, God, because the Lord is going to love and appreciate your pure heart. He does not want you to try to weasel in because he knows what's in your heart, even when you don't. So make sure you are pure and you are honest in your approach and be that person that can actually say, I really did what God told me to do. If you never did that before in your life, as scary and as petrifying as it may be that person who takes this time to say, I'm going to do what God is telling me to do, because I know on the other side of this, his will be done and I will get the desires of my heart. I will be a person living for him and doing the things that he calls me to do to help his people, and I will be pleasing to him. So guys, whoever this is for, I hope that you are encouraged. I will see you guys later. May God bless you and keep you. I'm wired to inspire. I hope you are too.
Thanks for listening to I'm Wired to Inspire podcast at I'mWiredToInspire.com. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word and be sure to hit the 5-star rating on iTunes. For more information on this podcast and inspirational products and services, log on to the inspirationspecialist.life or I'mWiredToInspire.com. And remember to live your authentic purpose. Thanks again, and see you next time.